Ransomware gang called REvil.
Security agents took down alleged hackers from the ransomware group REvil at over 24 addresses, seizing millions of rubles, vehicles, and technology.
They called themselves REvil, a name born from the word Ransomware Evil. But behind the dark branding was a business empire, one that turned cybercrime into a franchise. After the fall of GandCrab in 2019, the world thought the ransomware era might finally slow down. But GandCrab's developers had other plans. They rebranded, rewrote their code, and came back stronger, faster, stealthier, and greedier. They weren't a small hacker crew hiding in basements. They were professionals. Their goal wasn't chaos, it was profit. They built what they called a ransomware as a service model. Hackers could subscribe, attack victims, and share the ransom with REvil's core team. It was cybercrime turned into a startup. By the end of 2019, their name echoed across dark web forums. Their code infected thousands of networks. Their demands grew from thousands to millions. And soon, entire corporations, from law firms to food suppliers, would learn the name REvil the hard way. REvil didn't just encrypt files. They redesigned the entire business of digital extortion. To them, ransomware wasn't a weapon. It was a service, a product. A scalable business model that could run like any modern tech startup, except their clients were criminals, and their investors were fear itself. Most ransomware groups stopped after locking a victim's data. But REvil found a better way to hurt you and make sure you paid. Before encrypting your systems, they quietly copied everything. Emails, contracts, payroll files, even private conversations. Then came the message, pay or we publish everything. That tactic became known as double extortion, and it changed the entire cybercrime economy. Soon, REvil's victims weren't just small companies, they were global brands, law firms, and suppliers with secrets to lose. The ransom notes were written with corporate precision, cold, polite, and terrifyingly confident. They even built a dark web press site, a blog that listed victims who refused to pay, complete with countdown timers and leaked samples of stolen data. It looked less like a hacker page and more like a digital newsroom of humiliation. When companies hesitated, REvil mocked them publicly. They posted messages like, "Your time is up," or "We're waiting for your call." Sometimes they even emailed journalists, pushing the story into mainstream news, turning pressure into profit. Behind the scenes, affiliates, independent hackers who joined the REvil program, took home as much as 70 or 80% of each ransom. The core team kept the rest, maintaining the malware, running negotiations, and laundering millions in cryptocurrency through mixers and shell accounts. It was clean, it was structured, it was terrifyingly efficient. And the results spoke for themselves. By 2020, REvil had become the face of the new digital mafia, a syndicate built not on violence, but on encryption, fear, and flawless PR. The world was watching and governments were taking notes. Because this wasn't just hacking anymore, this was business.
Yeah, it is concerning, Becky. This group was openly taunting Tim Cook of Apple earlier this week. They're demanding $50 million for the return of data.
By the time 2021 arrived, REvil had become unstoppable. They were everywhere, hitting businesses, governments, even schools. But what came next would take them out of the shadows and into the headlines. It started with a company most people had never heard of, Quanta Computer, a massive Taiwanese manufacturer that quietly built hardware for some of the biggest tech brands in the world, including Apple. In April of that year, REvil broke into Quanta's systems. They didn't target Apple directly. They went after the people who made Apple's secrets. And what they found inside changed everything. Blueprints, schematics, unreleased product designs. Information worth millions, maybe billions, if it reached the wrong hands. Then came the public post. On REvil's dark website, they uploaded samples of stolen Apple blueprints, alongside a message, "We have confidential data on upcoming products. Pay $50 million or we leak it all. It was the first time a ransomware gang had directly blackmailed one of the most powerful tech companies on Earth. And they didn't just want money, they wanted attention. Within hours, the news exploded. Headlines called it the axis of REvil. Cyber experts, journalists, and Apple fans flooded the internet with theories. Was Apple negotiating? Was the data real? Or was this all a show of power? But for REvil, this wasn't a game. It was marketing. Every headline was free advertising, a signal to the world that they were untouchable. For the first time, ransomware had become pop culture, and REvil was at the center of it. The trail of REvil didn't begin in a hacker's basement. It began in bank accounts and digital wallets across the world. Each ransom payment, in Bitcoin, left behind a tiny fingerprint, a trace in the blockchain. And while victims tried to rebuild their systems, investigators followed those traces. From New York to London, from Singapore to Moscow, the digital breadcrumbs told a story of greed without borders. REvil wasn't just stealing data, they were building an economy. They ran customer support for victims. They offered discounts if payments were made quickly. They even had public relations posts on the dark web defending their business model. It was cybercrime dressed in a suit. Professional, profitable, and brutally efficient. By mid-2021, their total estimated haul reached over $2 billion in Bitcoin. Money that moved through mixers, tumblers, and ghost wallets. Digital laundromats designed to erase every clue. But the problem with money is, it always leaves a trail. And that trail led to something even bigger. Because hidden inside the blockchain was a pattern. Dozens of connected wallets, all pointing back to a single hub. A hub controlled by REvil's core team. For investigators, it was like finding a digital fingerprint, not of a person, but of an empire. And that empire was about to face its first crack. For months, REvil had operated like ghosts. Their servers vanished when traced. Their money was untrackable, their members invisible. But ghosts leave shadows, and one mistake changed everything. In the summer of 2021, REvil launched their biggest attack yet. Hundreds of companies hit at once. But as they celebrated, investigators were already inside their network, watching in real time. Behind closed doors, an international task force was forming. Cyber units from the United States, Europe, and even Russia, quietly sharing intelligence, tracing crypto wallets, and mapping every server in the REvil web. Weeks turned into months, and then silence. REvil's dark website went offline. Their servers vanished. Their leaders disappeared. For a while, no one knew what happened. Had they gone underground? Or had someone finally pulled the plug? Then came the leaks, court documents, press briefings, and quiet confirmations from officials. REvil's infrastructure had been dismantled. Their Bitcoin seized, their core members arrested. The empire that once demanded millions from its victims was now gone in a matter of hours. But the story didn't end there. Because for every group like REvil that falls, another one rises, faster, smarter, and more ruthless. The war against ransomware isn't over. It just moved to a new battlefield. That's why companies like Tileris exist, a cybersecurity company using AI to detect, prevent, and respond to merging digital threats before they strike. Because in a world of invisible wars, defense begins with intelligence. If you found this story compelling, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. More cyber war stories are coming soon.